Hey, you sexy bitch.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
That's a Jared Leto Joker laugh. I always wanted to do a Joker laugh, and this video just gave me a reason. And now we can continue. So today I'm going to talk to you about Suicide Squad. Is Suicide Squad as bad as everyone, is making it out to be? Because you see, Suicide Squad is filled with pudding, action, jokes, and the worst heroes ever. However, was it worth all the hype? You see, villains come in many different shapes and sizes, and some iconic villains have even stolen the show from the hero, and are actually capable of winning fans over. You see, after the outcome of Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, the US government is actually concerned about how they will deal with future threats. So we come across this badass babe played by Viola Davis. Her name is actually Amanda Waller in the film. And she sees the arrival of Superman as a wake-up call. And she uses the fear of Superman's abilities to fight the US government into leading her unit, known as Task Force X, a group of their worst imprisoned criminals. And the intent is to send the team on suicide missions. Get it? Suicide missions? Suicide Squad? Anyways, so the team on suicide missions go up against the super-powered threats in exchange for time off their kind of rather lengthy sentences. And we get stylistic intros for the hitman for hire, Deadshot, played by Will Smith. You may know him from Independence Day Focus, but who the hell doesn't know Will Smith? Also we get the violent, funny, beautiful, and Joker-obsessed Harley Quinn, played by Margot Robbie. The Wolf of Wall Street Focus, that's what she has been in. We come across the Black Magic Witch Enchantress, played by Cara Delevingne. I think that's how you pronounce her name. She's the chick from Pan and Paper Towns. We come across this tatted up firemaker, El Diablo, played by Jay Hernandez. The human crocodile killer Croc, and this Australian guy named Captain Boomerang, played by Jai Courtney. Jai Courtney, you may know him from films like Jack Reacher, Insurgent. Jai Courtney was, what's the word I'm looking for? Decent in those flicks, right? Maybe? I don't know. But what I do know is I had an awesome time seeing Suicide Squad. This film has been receiving some really bad reviews and a ton of negativity. Do I think it's a perfect movie? No, far from it. However, I believe the film has an amazing cast, a great soundtrack, and it honestly felt like a comic book on the big screen. It has well-acted performances. We'll get to Jai Courtney in a moment. It's colorful, it's fun, it's funny, and it honestly felt like the DC Extended Universe is actually starting to connect more naturally. I honestly don't understand all the negative reviews and hate this film has been receiving. Honestly, I like this a hell of a lot more than Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. You see, out of all the actors and actresses so far in the DC Extended Universe, the cast in Suicide Squad is easily the best. Will Smith as Deadshot is the most well-rounded character with backstory and character development and screen time. If anything, I consider this the Will Smith movie. Mr. July, aka Big Willie Style, has his career come back. But I do agree with what some critics and fans are saying, though. I believe Will Smith is the main character because he is the biggest selling point for this movie. And also at times, I believe he was acting like Will Smith instead of the character Deadshot from the comics. Meaning, we all know how Will Smith can be with, his big Willieisms, if that's a thing. Hopefully you all know what I mean. Also, Viola Davis completely owns the role of Amanda Waller. She is really mean, fearless, intelligent, and determined. And as Will Smith said to her in the film, gangsta. I don't know why I said gangsta like that. I don't usually talk like that. But she dominates everyone she shares a scene with and makes them look 10 times as small. And I honestly love to see her character come back in the future. And I honestly thought Viola Davis was a better Amanda Waller than, Pam Grier from Smallville. And that's saying a lot because Pam Grier is actually my favorite actress. I believe Angela Bassett played her in Green Lantern. So Viola Davis, please come back as Amanda Waller. You know what they say about the crazy ones. Another standout is Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. If you're not really all that familiar with comic books and or the character, you should know that Margot Robbie had a ton of pressure on her taking on this role. If you go to any comic convention, there are literally many, many, many women dressed as Harley Quinn. That's why I like those conventions. In my opinion, Robbie will satisfy fans and newcomers who may not really know the character, but Robbie still manages to capture the spirit of Harley Quinn from the animated series, as well as the newer version from the comics, whilst making the character work for, a regular movie audience. And if, you're going to talk about Harley Quinn, you obviously have to talk about Jared Leto as Mr. J, the clown prince of crime, the green-haired maniac, better known as the Joker. You see, Leto had to, face really big expectations. I'll admit, when I first saw the picture of Jared Leto as the Joker, I wasn't really feeling all that strong about it. I literally said he looks like what would happen if Lil Wayne and Marilyn Manson had a baby together. But after seeing him here, Leto took on the role, and I really feel like he delivered. His Joker brings a lot of new characteristics to the character, and is honestly really different from the previous Jokers we've seen from, Mark Hamill, Cesar Romero, Jack Nicholson, and my favorite, and maybe everyone's favorite, Heath Ledger. But in my opinion, this Joker was actually a mixture of various Jokers. Jared Leto's Joker reminded me very much of, the Joker from Batman War on Crime, the New 52 series Endgame, Batman the Killing Joke, Heath Ledger, what else? The novel Joker by Brian Azzarello. So he was a mixture of various Jokers, actually. And not to compare him to Heath Ledger, but he actually wasn't trying to be Heath Ledger. The only thing that I got that was a little Heath Ledger vibe was the way he would drag on his sentences you keep talking all that talk, you're gonna get yourself hurt. That's the only thing that I felt really resembled Heath Ledger. And actually, I heard a lot of his scenes were actually cut from the film, and I personally would love to see more, so I really hope he comes back as the Joker in the near future. One quick thing, Suicide Squad also has one of the best soundtracks in a long time. It kind of follows the steps of Guardians of the Galaxy in terms of song choices, because each song helps tell the story of the character it's paired with, and it kind of sets the tone. And honestly, I can't wait to pick up the album. So I just want to talk about all the negative buzz for a minute. You see, one big issue I did have were the flashback sequences. I don't really want to compare DC to Marvel, because I don't want to cause World War III at the moment, but I wish DC would look at how Marvel really introduces the heroes and villains. Marvel gives almost everyone enough screen time or a movie for us to actually care about the characters. DC, they just throw people together and they tell the audience, we should actually care about them. But I believe showing and not telling is more effective in cinematic storytelling. And also, everyone else in the movie is honestly of minor importance, although they all get their moments, like Captain Boomerang, played by Jai Courtney. You see, I told you we'd get to him. Feels a little underused in the movie. I think he literally throws 3 boomerangs in the film, and one of them he misses. He literally had one job, come in here and throw cool-ass boomerangs, and he couldn't even do that. Also, Katana, played by, I have a hard time with her name, Karen Fukuhara. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. But Suicide Squad is actually her first film. But Katana is actually a great character. On the other hand, we just don't really feel a connection towards her. And some of the characters are honestly just so plain and flat. Meaning they don't have any depth to their character. So little is done with the character Slipknot, played by Adam Beach. Adam Beach was in Smoke Signals, Joe Dirt, I don't even know why I'm talking about Slipknot. Nobody cared about him too much. And from all the advertising and build-up and the trailers and TV spots, I really thought the Joker was going to play a huge role in this movie. But in my opinion, the Joker doesn't really add much to the plot of the film. If anything, his character is just a selling point and a cameo. If this movie would have been more like Assault on Arkham, I would have enjoyed it a little bit more. But, so these are my final bitch and Buddha thoughts on the film Suicide Squad. Even though the director, David Ayer, mentioned he is not a big comic book fan, and that he doesn't really care for these type of characters, I believe he constructed a well-done comic book movie. It has a really good cast, it has good music, and it feels like a comic book movie on the big screen. I believe this film would have been better if it were rated R and not trying to be as funny, and actually kept the tone of the very, very first trailer we saw a few years ago, or maybe a couple of years ago. I apologize I said that. It's not a perfect movie, but I personally enjoyed it. And for those who didn't enjoy it, I'm sorry you were all let down, and hopefully you didn't lose all your faith in the DC Extended Universe, because we still have Justice League and, a solo Batman movie coming up, and Wonder Woman. I just feel like there's so much more they can show us. But I believe that Suicide Squad earns a, give me a drum roll. That's me giving myself a drum roll. Yeah, I just gave a drum roll to myself. Man, does that sound wrong. But I believe Suicide Squad earns an 8 out of 10. This review is brought to you by Boogie Buddha. And remember, don't just get down, but get boogie. Thank you all for viewing and watching, and I honestly hope you all have an amazing day as always. And if Will Smith has given me any good advice, it's stay evil, dollface. Thank you all. Bye.
What do we have here?
What are you gonna do? Are you gonna kill me, Mr. J?
What? Oh, I'm not gonna kill you. I'm just gonna hurt you. Really